Annie,
Welcome.
I can't imagine there's anybody on planet Earth, well, I would say any Christian on planet Earth right now that doesn't know who Annie Downs is, because your podcast and your books, they are all blowing up right now. Well, let's start with this. I feel like this is one area where I feel like you can uniquely encourage and be a voice for our church in this season. We have a lot of single adults at Buckhead Church, and you have, I feel like, done a great job, among other things, but of helping people understand what is it like to live by yourself and to also experience social isolation. So what have you learned, and how, maybe even more importantly, how can we be with our single friends during this season of isolation?
Yeah. The big thing I learned, Clay, is I didn't realize how much physical touch mattered to me until you can't do it. And there's no one. I mean, it's not even, I don't have a pet either. And so I'll get emotional saying it to you. I haven't hugged people in 20 days.
Wow.
And if we believe that God is who he says he is, and he says he provides for all of our needs, I just keep saying to him, like, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I am in need of feeling like someone hugs me. So that is really hard, and that's nothing anybody can do. I mean, here's the reality of how do we support our friends is we just say, like, I'm so sorry. Because it's not like someone could go, well, I just ordered you 4 hugs and they're going to be delivered at 5 p.m.
Yeah,
you know, like, you can't fix it. It's not a bouquet of flowers. It's not a bottle of Coke. It's not a pizza. It's this thing that is unmeasurable, but we all need so much. And I didn't know. And
I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you is a little empty when the hug is what you actually need.
Yeah. I mean, it is, of all the lines of defense, it is the most powerful one, but it does not, it is not fix it. Right. So I just think there's got to be some permission in all of us, between friends, single and married, of like, I can't fix this for you, but I believe, I keep saying to people, if someone says what they are experiencing is hard, the kindest thing you can do is believe them. Like, just believe them. Right. Like, sure, my life is not like a nurse's life, and my life is not like a mom of 4 kids under 4's life, but my life is my kind of hard. And their life is their kind of hard. And where I would go, well, at least you get to hug somebody, and at least somebody's sitting on your lap, and at least you're getting to have a conversation with a person in person. Their hard is their hard. It's hard. Yep. And so I think part of it is believing when people tell you what is hard is hard.
That's beautiful.
And I think thank you. The supportive thing that I have found and that I have learned is that it is just so helpful. Getting outside is really helpful. It's so helpful it is God's mercy that this is not December and January in the Western Hemisphere.
I totally agree.
Can you imagine? If this was January 2nd, I would, I can't.
That's another
personality,
level.
Yes. And you know me, Clay, my personality can, without pretty high boundaries, can spiral pretty quick into some real gluttonous behavior in all manner. Any way that you can have too much of something, I want too much of something when I don't have good boundaries and when I'm unhealthy. And I can't imagine not being able to get outside and release some of that. So I think that's a gift, is going outside. And the other, people just FaceTime for 2 minutes. I think there's a little bit of pressure when it feels like, let's set aside 35 minutes to have a FaceTime call with a family or with a whatever. And you just want to, can we just do like 2 minutes like we saw each other at a bookstore? Or like we saw each other at the grocery store? Let's just, hey, you good? I'm good. This funny thing happened, Clay, yesterday. I tried to FaceTime a girlfriend, and my phone accidentally called an ex whose name rhymed with her.
I heard.
Yeah,
I
said it.
But this is an amazing story.
It's unbelievable. And so I wanted to say, like, I needed a moment to tell that to somebody and then go on with my life,
But did this person, this person that you had been somewhat romantically involved with, that you that Siri unintentionally FaceTime for you, did that person answer the phone?
No, I beat it. Okay. I hung it up.
Okay, which honestly, I don't know if that's any better, whether he answered or whether he didn't. Either way, he has a missed call from you.
I know, Clay. I know. But I did not look as cute as I do right now. I had just worked out. I was so sweaty. There was no, if it would have been like right now, I'd have been like, okay, let's go. Let's try.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, no, you can't see me like this. So no, but so
that's amazing.
It's an outlet to tell short stories, not just long stories, you know?
Oh yeah, that's great. So, that's great.
But
which is that's what real friendship really is, or those friendships where you don't have to say hello, you don't have to say goodbye. And that's what we need more of right now, or those conversations where it doesn't have to be this big formal, we begin the whole thing and then 35 minutes later end the whole thing. But I think you're right. I
think Marco Polo is helpful with that because it's a kind of an ongoing app that just kind of lets you go, oh, a stupid thing happened, funny thing happened, sad thing happened. And then it's ongoing. That's been very helpful for my friends and I.
That's great. Well, you were one of the first ones that I heard about talking, that talked about the quarantine bucket list. So I'll get you to explain it in just a second in case people don't know, but let me ask the question also. How have you created a schedule during this time to get stuff done when it just feels easier to binge on Netflix and eat nothing but Oreos and combos in my case?
I wish you didn't know me as well as you do. Kind of hate how much you know. So wish you'd get out of my journal and my business, Scroggins. Yeah. So for me, part of it is my job is very easy to do at home. And so I have a day planner that sits by me all day that tells me exactly when I'm getting on calls and exactly when we're recording things. And so it helps to have some of that. I also think we kind of have to give ourselves a little bit of grace of like, I don't have it today. And say that sometimes. The bucket list was a better idea for me when it felt like the first 3 days when it felt like a snow day. And I want to get a bunch of stuff done. Like, I want to clean out my closet. I want to learn to juggle. I want to make beef bourguignon. Like I had all these things, but then it ended up not being a snow day and it just keeps going. And so for me, the bucket list has been very helpful as far as dreaming up what can you do if you are by yourself or with whoever you're with, and you aren't going to get to leave your house. And there are things you've wanted to accomplish. What can you do or learn or laugh at or watch? I needed to finish Poldark. I needed to finish the show that has the word creek in it. I don't want to say the first word, but I needed to finish that show. And I needed, there were things for me to do. But the bucket list just gave me hope. I think more than anything else, it just gave me hope that this time was going to matter. That I didn't just need to feel like a prisoner who marks off another day on the wall with my rock. And, I just couldn't do that. So that's what it was.
How are you doing on being, it is such an odd season because first of all, we're all experiencing it together, which is great. I mean, in the sense that that's right. We're all having this experience, but then we're also, there are things we're enjoying about it. Like all those things that you said you wanted to get done if only I had time. Well, now we have the time to do that. There are, walks outside, and I feel like every dog is like the greatest walk dog on the planet. And then there are also things that we're grieving as well. How are you doing being present in today versus looking out at when is this thing going to end?
Yeah, I just can't. I can't do that to myself. For me, what we know, the science that we know is that President Trump said April 30th. Now everybody's like, it'll probably go past it. Who knows? I don't care. April 30th. I see a date. I will go towards said date. And to me, it's that permission that we need to be able to hold both. You need to be able to say, man, I actually kind of enjoy that my evenings are quieter and I work out and I eat dinner and that's about it. I kind of like that. That hasn't been terrible. My physical health is actually improving with the amount of time I'm using up by going on walks and by exercising. Great. I am incredibly sad not to watch baseball. I'm incredibly sad for myself and a lot of my single friends who are in dating relationships at the beginning of dating relationships.
Yes.
Meeting someone new and suddenly what would be a normal progression when you've met somebody 1 month, 2 months, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, there is a low hum of hopelessness if you are not careful. And so we need to admit that and say, I grieve that I thought something was going to move forward or we were doing great or we had to move our wedding or we had to, there's a grieving, and the unfair thing you do to yourself is when you say, everything's fine. It's going to be great. We're going to have the best time. Look, I'm getting to do a tone it up workout every day. Or if you go, this is the worst thing and there is no good. It's permission to hold both every day. I mean, I say, you probably hear me say, I don't say it's a good day or a bad day. I say it's a good hour or a bad hour in this climate. And so we have to have permission to hold both at all the time. Joy and sadness were meant to go together. We know this from Inside Out. They actually are better companions than picking one over the other. And so just permission every day to, I'm going to list out 3 joys and 3 sadnesses today. Or if you need to do 5 and 1 or 1 and 5, but finding both every day is that, and pursuing God and connecting with God are going to be what get us through this.
I love that. I love that you touched on the varying levels of loss that we have right now. It's one of the things I'm trying to process because I want to help people in our church figure this out for themselves. But I'm in a meeting the other day. It was a Zoom meeting, so it's like Brady Bunch, and we're all going around the circle. And there's the things that we've lost that everyone just happened to mention. It was just this huge array. You went from one guy whose son is upset that he's going to miss his golf season to someone who's frustrated because their senior in high school is going to basically miss the entire spring of their senior year, to somebody had a daughter who was getting married and the wedding was just completely discombobulated, to someone had a really good friend who has the coronavirus, to someone who knows someone who died because of it. And, you might look, and I'm sitting there in the meeting, is about to be my turn. And I was like, my 7-year-old didn't get to have the birthday party that she wanted. But to her, that is just as big of a deal as the person that knows someone who's sick. So what would you say to people that are in the middle of experiencing loss, but maybe don't even feel like they can talk about their loss because it's not, well, I haven't died.
I haven't died. Right. And I do think the banner is, we have not died. That you have not caught a disease that has killed you. And so that is a reality, that is very true. But there are micro, it's death by 1,000 stabs instead, right? There are micro deaths constantly going on. And so we just need to give each other permission that because you have not died from COVID-19 does not mean you are not sad. Like, wash your hands, stay safe. You do not want this thing. We will mourn when people we know catch it. And God, Clay, every day I'm asking God to pass over the people that I love, pass over them, pass over my city, pass over, I don't want anybody I love getting it. That being said, there are real grievous things for me right now, and things for my friends, and I'll keep going with the Braves. It is sad to me not to watch Dansby. I love watching the Braves. But clearly, no one is going like, does Annie even realize that people are dying? No one's doing that, because we all know, the big banner is there is a literal invisible disease killing people, and we cannot see it, and we may have it on our hands. Terrifying.
Literally on our hands. Yeah. Literally
on our hands. Right. We have to give each other permission that other things are sad here too. That is the overarching, that is the low hum sadness. That is the constant anxiety that we have to choose to hand back to God and not let sit on our chests. But there are other sadnesses. And so we've got to have permission to say those too. And if you have to lead with, I need to say some things that are sad in my life, with the understanding that there are bigger sadnesses that the world would say, can I say my sadnesses to you? And do that for each other on a Zoom call. I love that y'all had permission to do that whole variance in that one call. That says a ton to me about y'all and your friendships, that people went like, all this is accepted here.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great, I think what you're, outlining the intention on the front end to say, hey, we've got to create a safe space where one sadness is not greater than the other, one loss is not greater than the other, that we really are all experiencing loss. And maybe even some of the most difficult is that those micro losses that just keep happening. Hey, I want to ask you I want to end with this simple little question, but I feel like your opinion on this might, I wouldn't say it's more important than others, but you've at least thought about this for so long because you have been talking about it so often on That Sounds Fun.
Like your haircut. I really like your haircut.
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask you.
Thank you. Cool.
So God obviously, we have time later at some point in life to talk about, did God cause this? Does God allow this? But if we could just move beyond that, and say, what would God want to say to us right now? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? Whether it's for yourself or whether it's for the church?
Yeah. I think that's a really good question. And again, that's really good permission. You're a very good pastor, Clay. That's such good permission to say to people, we don't have to sort out today whether God did this, caused this, let this. We don't have to put any of those words to him right now. None of us have ever done this day before. We don't know how to do this. And so let's save those for later. Let's carry each other through for now. So thank you for pastoring that really well. I would say the thing I am hearing is it feels like the Lord is saying, come closer. Just come closer. Come closer to me. And it is never in the world have all of the things we worship beside him been taken away like this.
Wow.
I saw a celebrity who's not a believer talking on his Instagram, and he said, I had no idea that I would lose sport. He's not married. I had no idea I'd lose sports and sex in the same week. And I was like, even people who don't know Jesus are recognizing that they have worshiped other things. And I have too, Clay. I have too. If anything is stirring up, it's how much I worship my calendar and how much I worship my control and how much I am sure that things will work out if I'm given permission to run them. I mean, it is gross what I'm learning about myself being my only friend for 20 days. But what I do hear God saying is, okay, come closer. Come closer. Let's talk about this. Like when I'm your only thing, and I am more than enough for you. And he's not being pushy about it. He's just being invitational about it of like, I've got you. Just come closer. And so that feels like the invitation for me. And that's the invitation I'd extend to our friends listening is this and watching. This is our chance. You've got more time than ever. Can we come closer to him? And by reading the Bible, by praying, by picking up other resources that tell us about who he is. And I just feel like this is our moment to come closer.
That's beautiful. And the amazing thing that I have found true of God is I don't know why he gives us the ability to initiate his movement, but it seems like he does. Over and over again, he says, hey, if you draw near to me, I will draw near to you. If you return to me, I will return to you. If you move toward me, I will move toward you. So I love that simple little answer that what God may be doing or saying right now is just, hey, come closer to me. And the great news is if you say yes to that, he will say yes to that. He will follow suit and come closer to you as well. So
that's right, Clay.
Thank you. I will also say on behalf of all the listeners and the tribe of people that are following you, you really pastor people, influence people, lead people really, really well. So thank you. We've got loads of people in our church that feel that way for sure. So thank you.
Wow, that means a lot. I love being friends with Buckhead Church. It matters a lot to me. So I'm really thankful for you.
Thank you, and thanks for your time.